This is Austin Granville, and you're listening to the three-time Stellar Award-winning gospel show right here, WIMG 1300, right here in Trenton, New Jersey. And you're also viewing us on WPYH-TV Mercer, and also you can find us on SBN and your cable guide. And I'm so happy, I'm excited for our guest today. She's the principal of Hedgepeth Williams School of the Arts in Trenton, New Jersey, Miss Adrienne Hill. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
No, welcome, principal. We go way back. So
Way back.
So, just to see what you're doing in the community, especially at Hedgepeth. You were just honored. So we're going to talk about that as well. But tell us about Hedgepeth Williams School of the Arts. I had to add that of the arts.
Yes,
She said,
you do have to add that.
Don't get that twisted.
Don't mess with my brand.
Okay, so what is all of that about?
So Hedgepeth Williams is an historic school.
Yep.
It's named after the Hedgepeth and Williams families who fought in the Supreme Court to desegregate the school system. They're cited in Brown versus the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of history there,
Awesome.
and here in this city that people forget about.
Okay.
So when we wanted to make it a school of the arts about 2 years ago, we petitioned the board to add on the School of the Arts because that school used to once be a very thriving art school and magnet before magnets were a word for schools. So we wanted to bring that back so we could get the students re-engaged in school.
So do you think it's making a difference?
Oh, it's making a big difference.
Yeah.
A big difference in our attendance, in our chronic absenteeism,
Wow.
in discipline.
Because,
Oh, yeah.
I think what you're doing is you're relating to the culture,
Mhm.
because that's, you're in an urban community.
Mhm.
So therefore, a lot of urban kids, they gravitate to the arts. So that
Right. And
was a
back in the day,
win-win.
the first thing to go is the arts.
Right.
And it shouldn't be. Because
Yeah.
the arts is not a separate subject. It's just as important as math and science, English and social studies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
it is another content area. So we have a dance studio, we have drama, 2 music, we have an instrumental music, and a general music class, we have art, and we have a host of specialists.
Oh, that is amazing. So I'm definitely excited because this Friday, what date is that?
22nd.
The 22nd. At what time?
6:30 to 9:30.
6:30 to 9:30. They are having a gospel showcase, and
Yes.
it's a must. You gotta be there.
Yes.
You gotta be in the house.
You have to.
Supporting the young people.
You have to.
And tell us a little bit about this show and how is this your first year?
This is our second year.
Second
So
year.
we want to make it an annual event, and really, it's just to raise the spirit, raise people in their, a lot of people are going through a lot of things,
Right.
and we meet with a lot of parents who are, going through things, and our students
But why
have
gospel?
trauma because that feeds the soul.
All right now.
And so
I'm
I'm-
talking my language, sis.
I'm a principal, but I'm Baptist.
Amen.
And so I grew up in the church,
Right.
and I know what that music does for people. And it's at night, so anybody can come.
Absolutely.
You can be of any denomination. It's not religious. It's just inspirational,
Right.
and
That's
it's music that
relationship.
makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
And I think we got a lot of positive feedback from last year. I'm looking for a bigger turnout this year, though.
Okay. How much are the tickets?
$10.
$10.
Just 10 little measly dollars.
$10, and it's going for what cause? Like
It's gonna help our student activities.
awesome.
So we're trying to bring our students to to Broadway. We have a partnership with the Metropolitan Arts, Metropolitan Opera. So they'll be going there on the 26th of March in New York City.
Right.
So our little black and brown children all dressed up,
That is
going
so
to the
beautiful.
opera.
Well, because I know you, I know this is near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely.
You are a singer. You
Yes.
are, you've always been a performer.
Mhm.
So, your father, for those who don't know, I know Mr. Billy Hill,
Yes.
who has been around for a very long time, who
Yes.
is a great entertainer.
Mhm.
And so this is very close to you and very
It is.
personal.
It is.
Very personal. How personal?
Well, I grew up. My family is musical. The Hill family of Princeton. If you know any of them,
Yeah.
any of them. The twins Johnny and Michael, my aunt April, and my dad.
Billy.
My dad has 2 gold records from the '60s,
Wow.
and we grew up singing harmony and learning how to do
Yeah.
all that, learning vocabulary from songs. And
Right.
I knew what the arts can do. I went to the School of Performing Arts when I was in high school. And I have a degree in theater from Mason Grove School of the Arts at Rutgers.
Okay.
And so I know that, and I've always believed that the arts could really change lives. And so when I arrived back at the school, I used to be a vice principal there about 10 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was there for 4.5 years. And
She's
then
the principal now.
I left for 5 years. Yeah, I came back as the principal.
Oh, right.
And I came back to try to bring some life back into the school.
Yeah.
And so, and it's done an amazing job. When you can see some students with like learning disabilities or,
Wow.
they may not be able to focus in class all the time, but when you watch them doing choreography, you know that if you use the arts, or if you made something high interest, to students, you can make a difference.
Right.
They may not have the top reading scores all the time, but you give them a script and they're transformed.
Wow.
So why not use the script to teach the reading?
Right, exactly.
Or
you're meeting them where they're at.
Absolutely.
And that's what God does. He meets us where they're at. And
Absolutely.
it's great that you're being creative and you're allowing God to
Yes.
use what's already on the inside of you, which is
Yes.
love.
It is.
Because it's that love that's drawing these kids.
It is.
You
And they know that,
Yeah.
even when I'm being tough with them.
I know.
Even when I have to suspend. Miss Hill, I love you. I love you too. I'll see you when you get back. One has nothing to do with the other.
Exactly.
Because I love you, you have to get checked, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, for someone who may be listening and, that may want to be a blessing, what could they do? Because, there's so many people who really want to give back, especially to the young people in this community, because we see so many violent crimes with our youth. What could they do? Could they volunteer? Could they
They could
donate?
absolutely volunteer, and they could absolutely donate. The schools are always in need of good, willing workers. I'm trying to build a parent army.
Okay.
That's what
say
I call
it
it.
again. You gotta
I'm
say it
trying
again.
to build a parent army because I
Amen.
have over 600, almost 700 students, and then the PTO, sometimes I only get 10 parents.
Right.
And that, when you do that ratio, that doesn't make any sense. And the only time you come to see us can't be when there's a problem. It can't be about a cell phone.
Right.
It needs to be about the work we have to do. There's work to be done.
Absolutely.
A lot of it. And there's room for everybody. Doesn't matter if your schedule, you don't have a lot of room in your schedule. There's stuff you can do at home. You can make phone calls to other parents. You can help us with letters. You can do
That's
mailings. There's a lot. We have the largest population is bilingual population, Spanish speaking.
Wow.
We need people to help reach out to families and give them support. We're working with the Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund, LAUDEF. They're housed in our building Monday through Thursday to help with immigration, to help with needs where traditionally students would be pulled out of school to translate. So we've tried to remove that barrier so the kids stay in school and the families get support.
Wonderful.
So tomorrow we're having a breakfast at 10 o'clock. And that's to support some of our families. We want to have a family support group because we go through a lot of tissues.
How much is the breakfast?
The breakfast is nothing.
Okay. Well,
Because
I still wanna donate
that's
something.
in support of the families. We go
Okay.
through a lot of boxes of tissues.
Oh.
People going through some trauma and some tough
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And so that's partly
That's
why
important.
it is.
Listen, I was just in Dallas, and I took a trauma and healing course, and I
Mhm.
think that this is something. I mean, I know a young lady, Dina McMillan, she does it as well, but it's something that's so needed to be able to go in and talk to the parents about
Mhm.
trauma and healing,
Mhm.
because we're dealing with trauma in our community that has never been dealt with.
Yes.
It's always masked, and just keep moving, and that you see. I mean, tell us, tell us, you're right there in the front lines about kids and depression. Is that real?
It's very real.
Okay.
It's very real, and I think a lot of times we mistake what students are going through trauma as a learning disability or an inability to have a certain academic skill, when a lot of times it's trauma induced or their behavior. Kids are not bad. They don't come to school to get on your nerves.
Right.
They don't come to school just to terrorize your life. They're going through something, and you have to stop taking it personally and try to figure out what they need from you.
Wow.
And I try to do that with parents too. Even when they're upset with me or they're upset with somebody in the school, I don't take that personally because I know I haven't done anything but try to support them. But I try to listen and I try to translate that into, what do you need from me? What can
Right.
I help you with or
Right.
give you? Do you need a shoulder to cry on? Do you
And
need
that's where the
support? Do you
tissues
need
come in.
resources?
Right.
When I say lots of tissues.
Wow.
So if I can't support the parents, I can't get to the kids.
Yeah.
If their lights are off or they don't have food, how can I get the student to pay attention to 10 times 1,000?
Right.
They don't care about that.
Yeah.
They care that I haven't eaten, so we
Yeah.
feed them.
Oh.
And my staff is amazing. They give coats and
Shout out to
they
the
buy.
staff.
Shout out to my staff because I couldn't do it without them, and they always have my back. And no matter how tough times get, they ride with me, and they ride for our families and our kids. We make house calls. I have been to many a house, and I will have a conference in ShopRite. If I've been trying to reach you, and I just happen to run into you,
Right.
we're gonna have it right there in the canned food aisle.
I know that's right. Because that's what kids need. That's what parents need. But that's what you're doing. What the community used to do.
Yes.
That whole Rosewood
Yes.
experience. It has to come back. Because we're missing out if we all catch those attitudes. I love what you said, that you don't get all caught up in your feelings. Because those things can get everybody messed up.
Absolutely, and you make wrong decisions. I have to make hundreds of decisions a day. You can't make good decisions under duress, under stress. So you have to try to stay neutral
Yeah.
and just get to the facts, get to the point, and how can you help?
Yeah.
That's it.
What is one of the goals that you would like to? I know there's many of goals that you have. We talk about having these vision boards. I know you have a vision for your school.
I do.
Because the Bible says, without a vision, the people will perish.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about one of those visions that one that already came to pass, and one that you're believing God for the family and these kids.
Well, one that already came to pass was making it a school of the arts.
Amen.
Because just a few years ago, we added drama this year, we added dance last year, we added another instrumental teacher last year. We didn't have all that when I walked in the door. There were no clubs, there were no activities, there were no dances. Students need opportunities to learn how to be social.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's not just all about
without
fun.
the phone.
But exactly.
Without the phone
exactly.
and internet and
exactly.
stuff.
Like
So
real human to human,
Yeah.
person to person.
Yeah, that's good.
And knowing how these words impact somebody else, good or bad.
Yeah.
So that has already come to light, and we're still developing and building the program,
Right.
but we're going to continue pushing for that. But my vision is for us to be highly competitive with surrounding suburban school districts.
I love it.
We don't want to just be the best around town. We want to be the best there is. And we keep pushing. And we're going to keep fighting for that.
Absolutely.
So yes, that is a huge,
Well,
it's a huge undertaking. That's why I need this
but
army.
Listen, the good thing, let me tell you something. There's nothing too hard for God.
No.
And the fact that God is in it, you're already winning.
Mm-hmm.
You're already winning. You just got to stay the course, because that army may not always be the size that you want it to be, but trust me, God will give you increase.
Oh yes.
When you don't, and you've seen it. You've seen miracles.
Right, and I don't listen. I don't need the army to be big. I just need it to be mighty.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't need it to be big.
I know.
It just needs to
You
be
need quality.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Is really what
Exactly.
it is.
So this is good stuff. I'm not surprised, because I know you. You've been you've been my big sister. I've known you since I was 10 years old. So I'm a little bit.
Yeah. How old are you now?
We don't talk about that.
Well, no, we're not going to, because then I have to talk about my
Exactly.
age.
But and I know your heart, and I know your work ethic. So I'm not surprised that you're the principal. I'm not surprised what you're giving. You're putting so much so much effort into this, because it's your heart. But I do want you to make sure, the Bible says guard your heart as well, because see, you're dealing with so many spirits, sis, that I know sometimes you have to go home and you cry.
What?
So who's giving you tissues?
What?
Right?
Well, yes.
Come on.
Well, you know what? The easy thing is I don't do a whole lot of crying, because my focus is not on me.
I know.
When you focus on other people more than...
but your heart still gets heavy.
It does.
Yeah,
it does, because you're always trying to find solutions. How
so
can I
you're
help?
going to have to promise me you're going to have to get that. This trauma and healing, there are courses all over. Someone can come into the school, talk to your to the teachers.
Someone's coming tomorrow.
Oh,
and
perfect.
yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
We'll be at the breakfast.
Good. Make sure you always surround yourself, and you have to depress it.
Absolutely.
Get out there.
Absolutely.
You're doing a lot.
I have outlets.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I work hard. I play hard.
Well, you are.
I go to the spa and relax and release.
And you
detox.
And you have your place, your home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I go to Florida a lot.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're going to take a little break, but just tell us a bit again about this Friday, so those who are listening, and what's going on at Hedgepeth Williams School of the Arts in Trenton, New Jersey.
All right, so this Friday, I need everybody to spread the word. I need you to come out to Hedgepeth Williams Middle School of the Arts, 301 Gladstone Avenue. It's right off of South Olden in East Trenton. And you need to come. You need to bring your grandmom, your sister, your friend, bring your pastor. Tell everybody at your church. If you don't belong to a church, that's fine too. Just come out and have a good time with us. That's what we're looking for. 6:30 to 9:30.
And the price?
I will be there. It's $10 little. You would spend that on a sandwich.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you can come and feed your soul.
Absolutely. And you listen, the devil's mad right now, because guess what?
Always.
You just gave him a black eye, but he wants prayer out of school, but now we're praising him. We're worshiping him. So we just thank God for you and your faithfulness. But guess what? We got to take a break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
This is your girl, Lisa Austin Granville, WIMG 1300 AM. You're listening. It's the public interest. So much going on. We got so much to be grateful for. WIMG has actually been nominated for another Stellar Award, 3-time winner. But next week, it's going down in Vegas. I'll be there. So keep your prayers out for us that we win another one, and we give God the glory. Shout out to Maggie and Beanie and all those at WIMG. My boy Steve on the wheels over there. But we'll be back after this commercial break. God bless you. Girl, Lisa Austin Granville, and you're listening to the 3-time Stellar Award-winning gospel station, WIMG 1300, and you're also viewing us on WPHY TV Mercer, and in your cable guide, you can find us under SBN. And we're back in the studio with my girl, my sister, one of my big role models. I love you dearly, Miss Adrienne Hill, the principal of William Hedgepeth.
Hedgepeth
Williams
Middle School of the
Arts. Yes, we got to put that arts. It's kicked.
That's right.
I got to remember that because that's your brand, and that's
is,
what we want people to know this school by. Because again, Hedgepeth Williams are, like you said, it's a part of our history.
Mm-hmm.
It was with Brown versus Brown.
It's pre-Brown versus the Board of Education. It's
Wow.
actually cited in the case.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So for those who are tuning in, tell us a little bit about the name and then why it's the arts. Again, why we added arts.
Okay, well, the Hedgepeth and Williams families are two historic families in this city. There's still lots of people, family members living and working in the city, in the district,
Wow.
who are descendants of the Hedgepeth and Williams families who fought to desegregate the school system.
Wow.
Their children lived across the street from the school and weren't allowed to go there because it was all white.
Oh my goodness.
And so they fought and said, it doesn't make sense for me to have to go to another school when I can go right here. And so they fought and they won.
Wow.
And they were the first to desegregate the school system. And so they were cited in Brown versus the Board of Education when all of that was going on.
Wow, that's pretty
So
amazing.
yes, and so I
So
make
it's
sure my
history.
students know their history,
Good.
know the history of the school. As soon as you walk in, there's a big display case. We have artifacts from back in the day. This year is actually the 75th year of the Supreme Court decision.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Such a monumental time.
It is. No, it really is.
It really
Because
is.
I want them to understand you have an obligation to succeed
Yeah.
because people fought for you to be here.
Please
Because now
tell
the
these
school is
young people
predominantly Latino and black.
Wow.
And so it went from all
What's the
white.
ratio with that?
Oh, it's about 63% Latino, and it's about 35% African American. Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
us.
So and the
rest of
demographics
Caucasian?
have even changed in the last couple of years.
Wow.
It used to be predominantly African American, but you think back,
Well, tú hablas español. Sí.
1930. Yes, oh yes.
Sí, sí.
Sí, yo hablo mucho español.
See, yeah, I know. I remember
Sí.
you were teaching us back in
Y
the
yo
day.
uso todos los días en la clase con los padres y con los estudiantes.
So I'm telling you.
Venga a la escuela Hedgepeth Williams. El viernes por música festival.
See, okay, come to the music festival
Mhm.
this Friday.
This Friday.
This Friday at 6
En
o'clock.
viernes,
Viernes.
6:30 a 9:30.
Oh, you know what? I know that the parents love that about you.
Listen, it's just another way to connect.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I studied when I was younger.
I remember.
And
You
I'm
used to speak it
surprised-
to us when we
I'm-
were younger.
I picked it up, I think, because language is musical.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I'm musical, and so I can pick it up pretty easily.
So for those who are listening, we have the principal of Hedgepeth William Middle School of the Arts.
Very good, very
And
good.
yeah, I gotta, this arts is throwing me off. But listen, she's here because, first and foremost, she wanted to talk about her, the show. The kids are doing gospel
No,
showcase.
the students are not doing
Oh,
it.
the students
Oh,
are. doing it.
let me give you the lineup.
Okay,
You want
please,
the lineup?
give us the lineup.
No, so listen, confirmed. We have
Confirmed.
Andrew Walls,
Okay.
Ohima Music, Daryl and Friends Music Therapy, Alan Fuchs Mime, Fresh Fire Pro, Living Hope Praise Team, Lion of Judah Praise Team,
Ooh.
New Life Refuge Praise Team, Salim Amir Hakim Spoken Word.
Okay.
Come out.
Come
It is
out.
Like, while I would love for you to come see my students, you're going to come and see some professionals.
Okay.
Come out and
And for
represent.
$10.
For 10
Come on, we
measly
should-
little tiny dollars.
Come on.
For less than a fish sandwich. Come on.
$10. Come for those who are listening. $10 you can support, and the money goes back into the
The
school.
money goes right directly to my students.
to the
Look,
students.
because the school budget doesn't support my dreams for my school.
Right.
I am a big dreamer,
Yes,
and
you
then
are.
I figure out how we're going to pay for it because I try not to reach into the parents' pockets.
Absolutely.
So-
And if there's another big dreamer listening, hey, if you can't make it, write a check out to the school.
Yeah,
to the
you want to be a dream maker,
yeah.
a dream supporter.
Yes. Do it.
301 Gladstone Avenue.
And it goes to the kids. I know this woman. I can vouch for her. She's the real deal. She loves the arts. Her herself. She sings. She's musical. And I know this is near and dear to her heart. So
It is.
tell us, for those who may be just tuning in, about, how it became the School of the Arts.
Well, a few years ago, this is my 4th year back at the school. I was a vice principal over there years ago. My 4th year back at the school, and it was void of some life and energy and spirit that it used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about, okay, how can we bring this school back to life? You can't have a school with an amazing historic name
Right.
that means so much to so many people and have it not succeed.
Right.
And it wasn't succeeding at the time. So we were looking for ways to try to engage the students and get them back in school. About 53% of the students the year before I got there weren't coming to school. on a regular basis. They were chronically absent, which is 10% or more days possible out. They were absent.
Wow.
So we were trying to figure out
Did they pass?
how do we. Oh no, you can't pass. You don't show up.
Right.
It's like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it.
Right.
But this is not about luck.
No, it's
This
not.
is about showing up and putting some effort in.
Right.
So we had to get them back in the building first
Okay.
before we could educate them and give them that extra boost. So that was the first thing we set out to do. Me having an arts background, I said, you know what, this is how we're going to do it. And we petitioned the board. The first 2 years we didn't have it, but we still began the arts partnerships with McCarter Theater, Metropolitan Opera, Young Audiences New Jersey, reaching out to find out where we could support the vision. And then I petitioned the board with a resolution to change the name to Hedgepeth Williams Middle School of the Arts, knowing I had to keep the historic part.
Right,
We
absolutely.
don't want to mess with that. I don't want any problems.
Right.
And then I don't want any problems.
Well, no problem.
No problems. And then add on to the arts so that it gives students something to look forward to. My staff is creative. Like at any given time, you can see a staff member dressed up in a costume.
Wonderful.
If you're a history
So
teacher, I have
you
one
remember
history teacher.
famed?
Yes.
So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to
Yes.
throw that on for him. Go old school. See how really, those are things that we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Grease 2 and Grease,
Don't you started on Grease. That's my movie.
I'm Grease 2. But
yeah, Grease 2 was not.
whatever.
But all right. Knockoff.
But all of the things that you're doing, the vision that God has given you, and that you're running with it, and nothing's going to stop you. I know that.
No, I don't really hear no. People try to tell me no, but in my mind, I don't even process it that way.
Right.
I just think about, okay, how can I get it done anyway? And that we proceed from there. Our first year back there, we took 473 students to the African American Museum in D.C. when it opened up during Black History Month.
Oh, wow.
The entire street was lined with buses, but that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You dream big, and then you figure out, okay, how do I make this happen?
Yeah,
and then you need other people, you need partnerships, you need parents.
Soldiers,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a parent army to help me bring some of these things to life because the children need exposure.
Yeah.
They think that this 7 whatever square miles is all there is.
Right, absolutely.
My vice principal, Mr. Gregory Green, shout out to him. He always has my back. He asked a student one summer, where are you going this summer? And he said, I'm going to West Trenton. West Trenton. We're in East Trenton. Yeah. And he was serious.
Right.
And, we talked about how can we expand their view of the world.
That's good.
The world is so much bigger than here. And there's nothing wrong with here.
Right.
But you've got to be able to expand and spread your wings
Yeah.
to even know how to come back here and help.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to give them. We take them as many places as we can to try to give them exposure and possibilities, opportunities.
Right. So do you guys have any upcoming plays or?
Not yet. We're working on our spring shows now.
Okay.
And our 8th grade promotion, which is the reason why we do all of this.
Okay.
It's a big deal. It's a production. it's the 8th graders moving to 9th grade,
Right.
but it's a big deal.
Right,
and you don't earn the right to walk across my stage with an F.
Right.
We don't do Fs.
Absolutely.
Now, by rule, they'll pass to the next grade with an F, but they don't have to walk across my stage, and they know I'm not playing. Okay. And every year, there are some kids who think it's a joke, or some parents who are mad at me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, because the expectation is that you will be excellent.
Absolutely. And F is not excellent.
And I tell them from the first day. I tell the parents from back to school night, and I don't waver on that.
I know you don't.
I won't. You can go to the newspaper. You can come on WIMG, trash talk me. Excellence has to be the expectation.
Absolutely.
Our students are up against, they need to be competitive in the world.
Yeah, because they're going through a lot. Like, for someone who, we talked about it earlier about, because so many kids today, unfortunately, are dealing with depression.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach that as a principal? And how do you direct your staff? Because there was something, I don't know if you just saw in 2020, the parents didn't even know.
Oh, yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah.
Are you talking about that?
Yeah, the parents didn't even know. Like, she's keeping a journal. She looked like she was doing well. I mean, but, you talked earlier on about there's, so many tissues that are needed for this community.
Oh, yes.
So what do you do in these instances?
Well, listen, the first thing you have to do is build relationships. You have to know your children.
Right.
Now, I may not know the name of every single student, but out of almost 700, I probably know 650.
Wow.
I notice when they get a new haircut, if they look sad in the morning. I do what I call curbside conferences. In the morning, I wait outside because I can gauge them right from the door. And if they need a timeout before they even start school,
Right.
sometimes they have bad nights at home.
Right.
Or they've had a bad morning, or they didn't sleep, or there was no lights, or there was no heat, or no food.
Those are the challenges.
Those
of
I
earning.
need to be able to spot some of that at the door, and then there's some parents I need to have some tough conversations with or good conversations with. I don't do that right from the curb, and so you have to pay attention to them, get to know them, so that you notice these little nuances when something's off. If a student who's normally performing up here or is usually pleasant and happy all of a sudden is performing down here or is crying a lot or upset, wants to see the counselor, you have to pay attention and you have to act on that.
Right.
And no report is a bad report. I'd rather you over-report to the counselors. We have a social worker. We have 2 counselors. We have a student assistance counselor for students who may have substance abuse or smoking, or their parents could have
Right.
some of those challenges. So we try to support them every way we can, and we seek outside resources also.
I mean, is that an issue? You know, like, drug abuse.
It's middle school.
Middle school, yeah. Well,
It's middle school.
That's
They're
right, I
they're
forgot.
experimenting. Listen,
I
they're
forgot.
learning their
Middle
bodies,
school,
their
right,
interests, their skill, what they like, what they don't like,
Right.
sexuality, all of that.
Yeah.
That's all comes with middle school. That's why it's the toughest.
It is. You're right. I wanted to skip middle school.
So many things to address.
Yeah, middle school. Yeah, God bless you. With the middle school.
I love them though.
I know you do. I can see it in your face, and I can tell you're like a proud parent.
Oh, I that's exactly what I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can tell, and you don't have to take them home. So.
No, I don't.
Praise God on that, girl. But look, I am, talking to Miss Adrienne Hill, the principal of Hedgepeth William Middle School of the Arts. And, before we go, because we only have 2 minutes, what would you like to say?
I would like to say, be a part of the solution. Don't come up when there's a problem. Come when there's not a problem. So we can build relationships with you too. And don't be afraid to talk to us, because my job is to help my students, and I can't help my students if you need help. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. We've helped a lot of people to get a lot of resources, because that benefits my children, and that's my goal, is to support them so that they can be successful.
Absolutely.
So be a part of the solution.
Until the time, the day of this big event on Friday,
All
the
right,
Gospel
come
Showcase.
to our Gospel Showcase this Friday, March 22nd, from 6:30 to 9:30, 301 Gladstone Avenue. Just 10 little tiny dollars.
For those who are listening, you heard it from Miss Adrienne Hill. Come support. Listen, she's bringing praise back into the school. How can we not support that? That sounds
It's going to be a good night.
It's going to be a great night. She has a great lineup, of people. These are professional singers,
Yes.
and people who, are there to worship and put us in the atmosphere, the presence of the Lord. It's a place to be at Hedgepeth William Middle School this Friday in Trenton, New Jersey. I got to go until my next time. But you know what? Thank you for joining me.
No, thank you for having me.
I love you.
I love you too.
And shout out to Grandma. We got to say
Shout out to my grandma, Ms. Laura Wooten, the longest working poll worker in New Jersey. She is in the hospital right now. She needs all your prayers and support.
79 years of work uninterrupted at the polls.
Yes.
We have to pray for her. She's an
She's
amazing
98.
woman. Just stopped working a month ago
Just stopped.
at Princeton University. So keep her lifted. So I got to go. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. God bless you.
Thank you.
You got it. For those who are listening, this is your girl, Lisa Dawson Granville, and you are listening to WIMG 1300 AM. Great gospel right here in Trenton, New Jersey. 3-time Stellar Award-winning gospel show. And also, you're viewing us on WPHY TV Mercer, and you can view us in your cable guide on SBN. And this is your girl, and I'll be right back.